All right. Today's episode, Josh and I sat down with a buddy of ours, Aaron Leneway. Aaron has gotten into the archery game pretty heavy in the last couple of years. He's taking a big interest in it, and he's been doing a lot of archery shoots, the Total Archery Challenge, Beast Mode Archery Challenge. We talked a lot about those two things. He confused me about his Spot Hog site and how it works, and his upcoming archery hunt in Colorado for elk. So without further ado, please give it up for our friend Aaron Leneway. Yeah, I forget all the damn time.
He just turned the flash on his phone. So iPhones have that where you can turn your...
Right.
Like, it just...
Found out I think I have a slight chance of epilepsy with it because it kind of fucks me up a little bit.
Dude, that just... I hate
Especially
it.
in the middle of the night.
As soon as that goes off, any one of my friends, you or Slavati, anybody that has that going on their phone, I'm like, ugh, why? Why would you do that to another human? That's just rude.
Yeah, I can't wait for Allie to bitch about it when my phone goes off in the middle of the night. Because it does it with a text message too, right?
Text message, phone calls, quite a lot of different things. I don't know about like social media things.
Dude, the minute that goes off when you are in bed and she's just like, nope. She's not going to say shit. She's going to grab that phone and smack you in the face with it.
Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen. Aaron knows, because Aaron, you grew up with Allie, right?
Yeah.
Like, you guys you met at fair?
Yeah, we've known each other since, 5?
That's a minute.
Yeah.
That's a minute.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we've known each other since we were 5. If not a little older.
It was really funny when she introduced me to him, because she was just like, oh, not going to know who he is. And he's like, oh, Smalls. Which is what everybody called me in high school.
Right.
But I meant to kind of scare the shit out of you. So I had the conservation officer that was heading up the poaching case, which went through. He took a plea deal, which we were discussing just before you got here off mic, how it's bullshit. But they ended up slapping him with. It was like,
I mean,
$1,000 and he can't buy a license for 4 years.
Yeah.
For the guy that had shot like the $9 that he had
No, this is the guy that poached the turkey.
Oh, just down the road here.
Yeah.
Oh, that is bullshit.
Yeah. And it's obviously, I mean, like you said, it's not the first time they've been dealing with the dude. We're just like, come on, man. And I know how that shit works. The CO's talked with the prosecuting attorney, and I know they told them it's not the first time they've dealt with the dude.
Right.
It's irritating.
Oh, yeah, and I'm with you on that. I'm with you guys on that 100%. Like, poaching it doesn't fly with me in my book.
You know what? He had to have had a decent lawyer that knew what was going on, and I guarantee the guy said, you're not going to make it through the trial. You're going to wind up going to jail. They're going to take your shit.
Oh, yeah. And listen to your guys' recent podcast when you were talking with Tyke's brother. Hands down, it's to the point where people that have money can just throw it at it, whatever, have the lawyer take care of it. But if somebody that's starving, barely making ends meet with the economy that it is now, tell me one guy that's not going to go out and provide for his family with grocery prices the way they are now.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a tough one, man. Because, I mean, the morality issue and the legality issue kind of clash right there,
Right. And at the same time, I get it, like you're saying, morale and whatnot, and the whole, but when you break it down to it, the guy that has the money is going to get that just a slap on the hand. The guy that doesn't have the money for a good lawyer, bye. There goes your hunting privileges probably for life.
The sad part is I don't even know if it's that. I think it's more like they don't want to take it to trial because, dude, I just had jury duty this week as well. Or this past week, or the week before, I'm sorry.
Right.
But shit show. I showed up Tuesday, and they're like, well, you guys all get to go home because 30 of your peers are in contempt right now for not showing up. So came back Thursday, and they almost made it sound like there wasn't enough of us. Like, there's only 12 jurors or 14?
12. There's 12.
But there was only 50 people there. And you know how it works.
Yeah.
I ended up getting dismissed because, head injury, short-term memory loss. Yeah.
Childhood trauma coming back to you there.
Do you think that'll affect your ability to deliberate in this case? Yep. 100% it will.
When he says, wait, what?
That's what Allie was like.
What?
Allie was like, you missed a perfect opportunity to be like, I said I had short-term memory loss?
Oh, that would have been great. They've been like, yeah, Mr. Ruff, you just need to exit the building now.
You're excused.
All they got to do is listen to the podcast. What was I talking about?
Right.
But what I was getting at, I was going to scare the shit out of you. So he was like, well, when's a good time to show up? I'm like, 5:30 on Wednesday.
Oh, thanks.
You missed him by like 2 minutes,
Oh.
man.
Oh, thank God.
Right, which is a relief because, I mean, not that I'm encouraging any of our future guests to be late, but a lot of times they show up early. And I don't know if you guys can tell from, like, I don't know, the shit show from last episode that usually we're scrambling right before we record. So it's like when they show up early, you're like, fuck! Like, nothing's ready.
Right.
Y'all didn't get to hear the 3 test runs we did to make sure we didn't lose audio like we did with Bobby's.
God,
Just
I'm
like,
so mad about that, man. Like, that was such a good episode. I mean, your brother's was a great episode, too. I mean, he did great. I was an idiot. Sorry, everybody, for not ever shutting the fuck up.
You took your damn medication today, right?
Aaron, wave your hand. You're going to have to move up or move that camera.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to move that camera. This is going to be weird, but I am going to get up and move the camera mid-podcast.
I'm going to do this so that way I know I'm going to need to stop and fix the fucking... This is the bitch when I do the editing, is trying to match up the audio with the fucking video.
Yeah.
So if I cut out...
You tell me when, bud.
Right there.
There?
Good.
Are you sure?
Yep, but just move his mic a little bit. You're going to have to lean in a little bit. Yeah, just push it forward a little bit. Yep.
There you go, bud. Now you can lean in.
Yeah, I mean, put it wherever you want. I mean,
Is that good? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can
Everything
hear you good. I can hear you good.
Good Lord, you sound like my ex.
Just put it wherever you want.
Jesus Christ.
We're going down that road, huh, with you?
You know, I think we've gone down Tyke's Love Life road way too many fucking times.
Thank you. It's about time you fucking lay off.
Well, hey,
Hey,
first of all...
Hey, we always have good high hopes for you, buddy. That's all
They
we're looking
never
for.
work out. The high hopes never work out. It's the ones that are like... Just...
In my defense, last time I was shit-faced.
All of this is getting taken out, right?
I mean, not this.
Fuck.
Why?
Because I literally just said... Work out.
So we might just have to slightly edit
I
out
have
some
to
stuff.
edit. Thanks, Tyke. Just edit that right out. But, dude, so there's a bunch of shit I want to talk about. Like, I want to talk bow tech. And I want to talk about your total archery hunts and all that shit. But I want to start with talking about, don't you use a hog sight?
Spot hog?
Spot hog.
Yes.
So is that just a brand that makes it? Or
Yes.
is that the name of the actual site?
That's the name of the actual site. I shoot Spot Hog. I got the Fast Eddie XL. I started out with the Fast Eddie, which just mounts to the side of your bow. Had a bow, loved it. Matthews V3, 27, loved the bow. Quick bow. Just being 29-inch draw, you're constantly dipping your head down. So I decided to sell it, go with the new V3X 29. Hands down, love the bow.
So tell people while you're dipping your head. Too short of a inner beam length? Or
Yeah, well, once you draw back at full draw, especially for guys that have long draw lengths, like I'd say 28 and a half and up, the valley of the string is so steep that you have to dip your head to be able to look through the peep sight without having your peep sight clear up in your speed knocks on the string.
Okay.
So, like I said, the 27 hands down Midwest bow for any whitetail tree stand hunter day in, day out, especially for the guys with the short draw lengths, 28 and down.
But more specifically, when I want to talk about with the hog sight, I mean, or the spot hog, is how the... Perfect. How does it work as far as, like, so we were talking about this last night amongst ourselves. Like, so for everybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, the hog sight is a single pin sight where are we talking about the same thing?
Yeah, it's a single double pin. You can get it in quite a few different styles setups. The Spot Hog, the one I run personally, is the Spot Hog Fast Eddie, which is a single double pin. It has dual indicators on it, which for me, I can't have a whole mess of pins in my sight picture.
Explain single double pin.
So you got one pin inside the housing, and then you got a red fiber, if I remember right, it's a red fiber up top, and I think it's a green or a yellow at the bottom, and it's within depending on how fast your bow speed is and what your arrow speed is, will determine if it's a 20 yard gap between the two pins, or it could be 5 yards between the two, or 10 yards. It all really varies on what your arrow speed is.
So was that like what you were talking about last night, where there was the...
I don't think so. That's so the fibers up top and bottom, and then you got the one solid pin. That's 3 different aiming points, correct?
No, just 2.
Just 2?
Yeah.
So is that like also a rangefinder sight as well?
Yeah, because you have a dial on the side that you roll to whatever, like we'll say one of your deadheads on the table here. We'll say that's 40 yards out. Well, you range that, it's okay, it's 40. Well, your top pin is set at 20 now, and your bottom pin could be set at, we'll say, for a slower bow, we'll say it's set at 30, your bottom pin. So you've only got a 10-yard difference, right?
So it's 2 fibers, but it's one on top, one on bottom.
Yep.
Got you.
Just in a single stack.
So there's another kind of sight that is similar to that, but it's 2 pins, 1 aiming pin, 1 yardage pin, where you place them on the deer's back and the deer's stomach and close them down until they actually touch both.
That's new to me. I've never seen that, so I'm kind of intrigued by that now.
One of the guys that I work with used to have one, and it's for like mature body size deer, like 18 inches is the chest on a mature buck. So you put it on their back for the top pin, and you put it on their stomach on the bottom. You move the bottom pin up, and that gives you your yardage, and then you move that up to where you're going to shoot.
Really?
He said he's made an 85-yard shot with it.
That's quite interesting. And how I even thought about calling you and being like, hey, dude, you want me to bring my bow with me? We could shoot probably. But no, of course, I show up late for the podcast.
Right. Well, cause, like we were talking last night, like I was just like, 'cause it sounds like a great idea, but that was just the whole rolling of the sight thing was just, to me, one more thing you got to mess with when you're in the stand and you have an animal in front of you.
Right.
But that being said, like it's a cool idea, but in my head it was just like, that deer's 40 yards away, you just roll the thing to 40 and go. But like my question was like, how do you get that? What's your zero?
Your zero is 20.
Okay.
So when you first get your spot hog, if you go with the single pin, single double pin, I should say, you sight into your 20, get your 20 dial. Then a lot of people, especially the YouTubers I've watched.
So what, you put your dial on 20?
Yep.
And then sight in your pin at 20 yards.
Yep. Well, first you sight in your pin and you move the dial to wherever, till you hit dead center on 20. Once you get that established, you put comes with a scale, with sight scales, and put that on there. I already have 20 yards marked on the top, and then you roll it to, we'll say, I think, we'll go with mine. I had mine dialed in at 20, and then I had to go back and shoot from 60 until I hit 60. And on this calibration tape, it has different numbers. I think it starts at like 1 being like your huge gaps, where you're going to be like 20 and like, say, 25 as your gaps between the two pins. And then you're talking about something super slow, maybe a kid's bow, youth bow, shooting 40 pounds. 35, we'll say. I'm not 100% sure how far you have to be.
Just for the simplicity of trying to explain it, why don't we just try to explain it with one pin? It's the same thing, right?
One pin, you sight your 20 in, and then you go back to 60, get your 60 dialed in, and then there's numbers that you go off of. It comes with a sight tape booklet, and it shows you every number. So whenever you get your calibration tape dialed to, say, 23, you go in the sight tape booklet. It comes pre-made sight tapes. Okay, I found 23. Okay, you cut it out, put it on there. Dead nuts.
Okay, so you like make the reel, kind of?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So rather than, like we were talking last night, rather than being a cam where you have to have a certain yardage, it's got different gaps on the tape, like, inches versus centimeters on rulers.
Yeah.
Right. Because like that's what we were trying to figure out last night. I'm like, well, what would be your zero? Because you're shooting different diameter arrows, you're shooting different speeds, you're shooting different grains. Like, how the hell would it know it'd be like he was trying to say last night, like a ballistic chart.
It has to be specific.
It is to an extent, because me and Tyke could had the same draw length. We'll say I shoot a 420 grain arrow, total arrow weight. Tyke shoots a 560 grain arrow. That's gonna change dramatically as far as how the sight tape is set. We could both hit 20, and our 20s be identical, but once we get out to 60, his might actually be a lot bigger gap between the sight tapes as far as spacing on the lines of where 25, 30, 40, so on and so forth is spaced out a little bit bigger than what mine is. Mine could be super tight.
Right. Well, so the reason I was asking about the hog sights is because you were talking about these total archery shoots you were doing. The one you just did in Wisconsin, I'm going to let you explain what those shoots are here in a minute. But basically, when you were explaining it to me, I was like, shit, that'd be, you're shooting long distances like that and hiking up mountains. It just seems like that would be the perfect sight to have. Oh shit, especially you're shooting long distance. What was the farthest you said you shot?
The furthest I shot between both things I did, or outings, I guess you'd call them, was 124 yards.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's a poke.
Well, fuck with it.
Especially with an
arrows
arrow.
Are expensive, brother. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah. Honey, I love you, but we are not going to talk about how much money I have in these arrows. I love you. You know this.
How many did you lose on that shoot?
Total archery, I lost three in 3 days.
That's not terrible from what you were telling me you were shooting at. So, yeah, I mean, walk us through the total archery deal. So, like, what do you got to do to, like, sign up? Is it, like, a league deal, or is it just...
No.
Walk us through it.
Total Archery Challenge, a lot of people know it as TAC, but it's Total Archery Challenge. They hold it all over the country. They usually start in Texas, I want to say... end of April they start, and then it's from Texas to Oklahoma out to the East Coast here to I think they stop in Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and then they head up to Montana, and then they got 2 stops I think in Utah.
No, so what is it though? I mean, do they keep...
And it's strictly open to the public. Anybody that has, from longbows to recurves to compound bows to hunting bows to target bows, where guys got 30-inch stabilizers, and you're like, oh, hey, I showed up with my little 8-inch stabilizer. It's cute. I know. It's like a button.
But is it like a league?
No, it's just a fun shoot.
Okay, so like when they're saying when they're traveling, they're just setting up targets or setting up shoots, and it's just all for fun.
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
Now, with all these different kinds of bows, are you guys all shooting the same course?
Yep.
So, trad archery, like longbows and recurves, 124 yards.
Well, that's the thing with TAC, and they have cones set up where you can shoot from the cone if you feel comfortable enough with your whole setup. Be like, okay, yeah. I feel comfortable of taking this shot. But with the whole camaraderie around TAC and whatnot, I've met a lot of cool people from all over the state. And they're like, hey, my wife, she's only got like a 40-pound bow. She can't make this 110-yard shot. Do you mind if she scoots up? No, that's not a problem. We'll hang out, wait till you guys are done, pull arrows, come back. That's cool. So you're not necessarily tied to, okay, you have to shoot from this cone. Because, hell, the 124-yard shot, I was like, yeah, this is going to be fun. I looked at my buddy that went with me. I was like, well, I'm just going to send this arrow, and we find it. If not, well, there goes an arrow. We're not going to talk about it the rest of this trip.
Well, I was going to say, so, like, the way your spot hog works, so anything between 0 and 60... you can dial it. Like, did you have anything for 100?
Yeah, the spot hogs with them, they go from 20 to 100
or 20. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so your tape goes to 100.
So okay, so you're only sighting it in 2060, but you can still just roll it all the way up to 100. No shit. But even God, like you feel like even like the difference between 100 and 120
is a huge difference.
How far did you go over its back? About a foot and a half.
When I dialed my sight tape, I started realizing, like, when I started shooting for, like, the 120, like, I started realizing, okay, well, if I roll my dial all the way to my bottom pin or my bottom indicators on 100, okay, counted up how many lines, okay, so we'll say I was 16 yards from my top of my second indicator, my top indicator, which would have been my top pin. I was like, okay, so we're going to roll this down to the top indicators on 100. I was like, so that's putting me roughly about 116 yards for bottom pin. I was like, well, I'm just going to wing it and just kind of, just to add a little bit more of a turn down and hope and pray for the best.
Send it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's all you can do is just, when you get to that point. Oh, yeah. 124 yards, like, in real life, yeah, not a good spot to hit a caribou. It's like right in that vital shoulder where you're like, oh, he's just going to take off my arrow. Well, it costs me about $200 as it runs away and never dies.
Well, realistically, nobody in this room would take a 124-yard shot with a bow on anything.
No.
But so those courses look cool as shit. So like you're backpacking pretty much, right?
Yeah. Total Archery, it's the first, I think, 3 courses. Yeah. No. Yeah, 3. Because there was 4 up top. There was Prime, Sitka, and Knock On. Yeah. So there was 3 down, 3 up high, 2 down low.
Up high meaning high altitude. Well, you're in Wisconsin, so how high can you get, really? But some of those videos you were showing me, they look like you were in some shit.
Yeah, well, TAC wasn't actually held in Michigan at Crystal Mountain Ski Resort. So they use the whole ski resort to their advantage of setting these targets up. And so at TAC up in Michigan, you rode the ski lift to the top of the mountain, and then you shot your way down.
So what you did in Wisconsin was not TAC?
No.
What was that?
I actually wearing the shirt from it. King of
the Hill?
Yeah. Beast Mode Archery Challenge in Mount Horde, Wisconsin.
That looked like a good time.
Or Tyrrell Basin. It was another ski resort. And it's literally just 2 guys and a wife that sets this whole archery thing up every year in Wisconsin.
2 dudes, same wife?
Huh? Yeah, something like that. I didn't really ask. I wasn't getting into details with that.
Alrighty. But
sorry, Brent.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We're gonna leave that one right in there. That Wisconsin shoot though, man, that looked cool. Like you put all kinds of pictures and stuff online.
Yeah.
It looked a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. It was fun. It was a blast. If I had to go back and do both again and right back to back to one another, anybody that's looking to hunt out west or want any kind of like physical endurance, Beast Mode Archery Challenge, hands down. That's the only thing those people live for is out west elk hunting.
Well, yeah, because I was gonna say in those pictures, you look like you were in some incline.
Yeah, like the one course which was their front range at Beast Mode was, and all 3 courses were only 14 targets, and the front range, yeah, you shot 1 target, got on the chairlift, rode it up to the top, and then shot your way down the hill. Now, when you got to the western range, there was no ski lift. You were hoofing it the whole time.
That would be cool.
And like I was like, oh yeah, I got this. I'm somewhat in shape. I've been hitting the gym, whatnot. Yeah, no, not even a little bit.
I love that shit.
It's the damn cigarettes you smoke.
Which since then I haven't really smoked a whole lot. I've like trying to cut back on smoking. Like this is brutal. I was like, after doing that western range, I was like, I did TAC. I was like, oh. I was fucking with my buddy. I was like, oh, look at me. I can still smoke and do this shit. This is nothing. Yeah, I went to beast mode. I was like, yeah, fuck cigarettes.
That hurt my lungs.
Well, I'll say this. I've done hay with Aaron quite a few times now. And just overall, like, I mean, showing up on a couple hours sleep, 12-hour shifts or whatever.
Nah.
And then throwing hay and being in a good mood about it. And smoking cigarettes.
Right.
We're all about half dead, and Aaron's like, what's the matter, pussy? So, like, you're one of the toughest fuckers I've met, which is why I was down to go on this upcoming elk trip you're going to in Colorado here in a couple weeks, which is, I'm assuming why you're doing all these shoots, trying to get prepared for that.
Yes.
So you want to tell people what you're doing?
Me and my buddy I'm sorry, Jake, if you're listening to this, you were my second round draft pick. Just saying, putting it out there. I love you to death. We've hunted together for years, but Bert was my number 1 draft pick for this, but he decided
to knock up
Allie and be like, "Oh, hey, bud, I'd love to go, but hey."
That was the funniest part is when I was at your house for I think
it was a family dinner. We called it a family dinner. Or something like that.
We're all having
a cookout or something.
Yeah, and you were like, "All right, man." You're like, you sat down, you're showing me shit on your phone, and we're going over dates and stuff. And as soon as you said the date, I was like, "Man, that baby's gonna be there like right about then, or close to it." And I was like, "That ain't gonna work." But we didn't tell anybody we were pregnant yet, so I couldn't say shit. I'm just like, just getting all the nitty-gritty details on a nice, juicy out west hunt and couldn't.
Yeah. And I've been scouting. Me and my buddy Jake, he's been doing a lot of the e-scouting with me working, and he's more technical nerd. Like, get on the computer, I will nerd out for fucking 4 days, not talk to anybody.
Well, let's tell everybody what you're doing over-the-counter archery elk in Colorado.
Yes. And Colorado, yes, it's a lot of people even said Colorado's like the state of, even Typeke's brothers, it's the state that everybody goes to because it's easy.
We wanted to get into that because Willie decided that he was going to go and do the guided in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Just for logistics. And, he explained his whole spiel. You're doing DIY in Colorado.
Yeah.
So we kind of wanted to...
Because I'm a poor, broke pipe fitter. I got 3 kids. I can't afford guided shit.
I feel like those words have never been strung together before, but okay.
No, I feel like out there it's just a matter of finding a decent spot where you can get away from everybody.
Yeah. And that's the thing,
how far are you willing to hike?
Yeah, I'm willing to hike 10, 15 miles if need be. It's going to kill me. Knowing if I get an animal down, the pack out's going to kill me.
Think about it. Think about this for a damn second, would you?
Oh, I've been thinking about it.
It's your first out west hunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never done this before. Never packed out an animal before. I can promise you, I packed out an antelope, which is probably the lightest of the species you're going to go out after. I about fucking died. No. And I was in a lot better shape than I am right now. I'm telling you, 10 or 15 miles, you will regret it because it's an elk.
Yeah, and it's not a small animal. And a lot of people that I've talked
stomach
to,
says hello.
It's been doing some things.
And I've talked to a lot of people that's done out west. They're like, "Oh, you're going out west for elk?" Yeah, archery elk. Yeah. Have you ever hunted out west? Not a goddamn time in my life. I'm strictly a flatlander.
I think you guys are going to have a lot more success than you think as far as getting after some elk. Hopefully, if you guys can get away from the competition. I'm just telling you, man, that's a long way to fucking go with that much weight on your back. Yeah. Even hiking in, you'll see. Because you're going to have you're going to have your tent. You're going to have your camp on your fucking back, right?
Right.
So once you get to camp and get everything set up, you lighten your load a little bit, but you're still looking at 40 pounds, 35 pounds.
Weighing out my pack now.
With a gun or a bow.
Yeah. I weighed everything out. I have everything packed in my bag that I'm taking out west.
What's your weight? Have you weighed it?
I'm weighing in about 35, 40 pounds.
And that's everything going out, including your tent and stuff?
Yep. That was tent, sleeping bag, sleeping pad.
That's really light.
Clothes, food. That wasn't including the water bladder. I think it's 3-liter water bladder.
So I had to get mine under 50 or 55. We all did when we got on the plane to go to Montana. We were all really fucking close. It's a little bit harder than you think. And, I didn't weigh my shit before I went. It's heavy, but there's nothing I can take out of here. So now it was at 45. I think Bobby had to take some shit out. But anyway, I'm just saying 35 is that's light, dude.
I have to give a lot of credit to a lot of the YouTubers I followed on YouTube and whatnot and watch them religiously, and that is Dan State and Elk Shape YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down, that guy. I would love to be that guy. Be a complete YouTuber, do the whole nine, never have to make my own hours, just shoot my bow all day and take a month off and hunt elk through state to state.
Well, part of that comes from being the poor, broke pipe fitter that can afford to buy that nice, light equipment.
Oh no, this is like, hey.
Well, walk us through your pack. You got like cooking equipment in there? Because I mean, I feel like a damn pan would add quite a bit of weight.
I actually have just a jet boil.
Just a jet boil.
Just a jet boil. Peak refuel mules.
Does he have a skillet?
He is. My buddy that is coming bringing a skillet.
Because you're gonna regret not having one if you guys get one.
Right.
You're gonna want to like cook up some heart or some backstrap.
Oh yeah. Like I told my buddies, like
Tenderloin.
Let's bring a skillet. I was like, dude, I'm trying to keep my pack light as possible. I was like, 1, we've never hunted out west. 2, we've hunted Michigan our entire lives. We've born, raised here in Michigan.
Flatland, yeah, man.
I was like, yeah, we get excited when we see a big buck here. I'm like, dude, we're shooting something that's like going out hunting the neighbor's cow, steer, beef cattle next door.
You're about to get addicted.
Yeah.
I just hope you guys at least are able to put on a stalk or two because, dude, it's so much different and so much more fun than deer hunting. I mean, I love deer hunting.
Yeah.
I love when I have action deer hunting, and I love the occasional. Jesus. I love the occasional. I should have shut that window before we started. Squirrel. Damn it. What was I talking about?
Just blame Carson.
Oh, I love the occasional sit when it wasn't even Carson. I love the occasional sit when you don't see nothing, clears your head. But,
right.
I mean, it's boring, man. Just sitting, waiting, and say ambush hunting. And maybe it just seems a lot more boring because I've been doing that like 20 plus years at this point. And out west is just new and exciting and fun.
It's something new, something to do. And a lot of people are like, why are you going for elk?
They taste good.
Well, they're like, well,
for starters, it was an easy tag to get.
Yeah.
Over the counter.
Over the counter, yeah, hands down. Yeah, did I want to really go Colorado my first hunt? Not really. Knowing the whole, okay, well, everybody and their brother is going to be in Colorado because it's an easy tag to get. It's a guaranteed tag. Why not?
And you guys are driving out there?
Yes.
So do you guys already have like a solid plan?
Pretty much.
Once you at least should have a plan, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you get out there. Are you guys going early?
Yeah,
because originally you were talking about going pretty early.
Yeah, we still plan on leaving September 2nd. Time wise, not 100% sure because I want to find that sweet spot where we start driving. We don't hit Chicago at like rush hour in the morning or rush hour at night. Find that happy like sweet spot.
Right.
That
I was gonna say. Well, if you get there early enough and start talking to the locals, you might get. I mean, I don't know how much information they're going to share on elk. I mean, bear, they were like, yeah, kill them all. They're all here.
Yeah.
You know? Elk, I don't know if they'd be so willing to.
Yeah, it's kind of, I feel like elk's more like a majestic animal, like a unicorn out there for them guys.
I have a feeling, honestly, it'll probably go something like, yeah, we're here to elk hunt. Good luck. Right. So is everybody else. But I'm just saying, I think you guys are going to do all right. Those fucking gnats. Shit.
But yeah, like, I'm going out
I stopped swatting
with the
when they started bugging you.
whole mindset of, I'm going out as I could get one, I can't get one. I'm going out strictly for the experience. Yeah, if I don't tag out in Colorado, okay, it was a learning experience. Reflect on what I did wrong, what I could better myself on for next year's hunt.
Mm-hmm. Not go to Colorado.
Yeah.
Now, does Jake have a tag as well, or is he
Yes.
just... Okay,
Yes.
so that was I was going to go with you, but I wasn't going to buy a tag. I was actually going to fly out...
Yeah, because me and you discussed that. I was like, Bert, you fly out there. I will pick you up from wherever the airport you land in. We'll go.
And that was actually when I was working for somebody too, when we first discussed that. Because I remember being like, I can't take that much time off work. But now I probably just end up driving out with you. But I can't anyway, because I'm a baby.
Allie, I love you, but I might still kidnap your fiance. Like, Bert, get in the truck, we're leaving.
Well, honestly, the due date's not till October.
Oh, see, perfect timing.
Like before we like we knew, but before we told everybody, we didn't really have I don't even think we had a tentative due date yet, which is 10/4. So we were just like doing the math in our heads. I'm like, well, I know, and you know. So I'm like, I have a feeling that kid's gonna slide on out right about the middle of September. So.
Right.
So I was like, no can do. I don't want to be that many states away with a chance of my kid coming out. So I had to pass. And then I think you guys have all heard the story how we screwed up on our mule deer hunt, our mule deer point.
No.
So last year we all bought our mule deer point to hunt mule deer in Montana.
Okay.
This coming October, which, again, wouldn't be able to do. But
I bought a point. That counts for something, right?
Well, we all bought our point for $50, but
oh shit, that ain't bad.
And I'm guilty because I have a feeling Mike's the same way. Mike Bussing, my boy. But we just kind of let Bob kind of, tell us when we got to do shit. My brother, he kind of plans these hunts, and a lot of times, like, I'll be willing to go without buying a tag necessarily. But, mule deer, shit, I want a mule deer.
Right.
Tag's pretty affordable for Montana, and I think it'd be a really cool hunt. All bought our tag last year. Montana changed the date and when you can apply or buy your tag.
Really?
For this year. They moved it by a month, but Montana's rule is if you miss it and don't buy your license or buy another point, you lose your point from the year before.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, which was only $50, but still, damn it.
Yeah, that's $50.
Well, at my point.
Right.
Fucking point. So instead of now having 3 or 2 points going into next year,
you're starting back out.
Speaking of which, I need to buy a fucking point.
Yeah, it's not bad until you get 4 or 5 and you forget.
Oh,
Lord. We were just talking about the Wyoming thing the other day.
It's Wyoming. That's 2 years, and they also changed the date.
Mic, Josh.
If you'd stop talking over me, we'd be fine.
Anyway, continue.
But Wyoming's every 2 years, and they changed their date, so I'm fine. I thought I was screwed.
I don't know if I have any points in Wyoming right now.
You said no last podcast, so, buy your frickin' antelope point.
No, I need to do that. When's the deadline for that?
October.
Okay. So I got some time. Cool. Because it was like we talked about that, and then August came around.
Yeah, write that down.
I started to. I got my pen ready. But yeah, I need to do that. So that'd be a cool one for you to go on too.
Mule deer. That's the whole thing. Like that.
We're talking antelope in Wyoming.
Antelope in Wyoming.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I want to get the big animal out of the way. Like, my goal in life is to be able to take at least one elk with a bow, an antelope with a bow, a muley with a bow, which I know those two are probably going to be the 2 hardest animals to try to kill with a bow.
Muley with a bow, I'm going to recommend Idaho.
Idaho.
We got very, very close to quite a few mule deer when we were in the mountains, and they were in season. My buddy had a tag. We didn't get close to any big bucks or anything, but
yeah, I'm not looking for like Boone and Crockett here. Like, I'll be happy with give me a little forkhorn. Oh yeah, dude.
I was
like
an
8-point or 12-point back here in Michigan. Like,
we had what? I mean, it'd be a 3-point on our terms, but
right.
It's a single and a forky out there in the western. I don't even know what you'd call that. A spike with a fork on one side. And he walked right up to like 20 yards, straight down the trail, just walked right to us. Like, if only Derek was here.
Right.
My buddy Derek had a tag, and he's just like, I have class that day. I can't.
And it's like,
I'll do you one better. I know I told you about this when we were in Wyoming antelope hunting. My brother also drew a mule deer tag, which was he fucking on a whim put in for it. It was like 16% drawing odds. So I shot my antelope buck opening morning. He shoots a fucking forkhorn mule deer opening morning, which I'm not gonna give him shit for because I can't say I wouldn't have done the same fucking thing.
Right.
It's new spot. You don't know if you're gonna see another one. Don't pass something on the first day that you'd be happy to have on the last day.
Right.
Kind of situation. It was a nice big bodied mule deer, but forky. Like the Euro mount, you wouldn't even be able to tell it's a mule deer.
But coming from out here, do you think it was actually big bodied, or do you think we're used to whitetails and it looked big because of what we shoot around here?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I did. So when I say big body, I never saw it in the flesh. All I saw was quarters. Okay. But so we had plenty of meat off of it. But later that week when we were hunting, I was going on a solo stalk on some antelope, and accidentally ran into like a 5x5 mule deer, like 30, like bow range, like from here to your truck. Had no idea it was there, just tearing up a bush.
And it's like that's when that little voice in the back of your head, you're like, oh, dumbass, you should have had a tag for this.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have put in for that tag. It's 16% drawing.
Yeah.
I was just happy as hell to have an antelope tag.
Right.
And that's, I mean, we talked about it a million times, so I'm not going to go into it too much about the antelope thing. But that's, because we did it backwards. we did get our feet wet doing antelope, thinking, it's a good, because you can't camp more than 100 yards from the truck where we were going.
The truck or the road?
I'm sorry, the road. So we were basically like camping from the truck. but it was a good opportunity. Like, you know, if there's something wrong with your gear, you know, it's not the end of the world because, you know, or if something happens to your boots, you got a spare in the truck, you know. It's not like you're adding weight into your pack.
I gotta walk 100 feet or 100 yards back to the truck.
That's why I'm worried for you, just because it's your first trip and it sounds like planning on heading back quite a ways, which, I mean, if something goes wrong, dude.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to clarify. You're hiking in 10 miles and setting up camp and going from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my whole goal, was be able to hike back as far as I can, but still be within a comfortable range that, okay, if I hike here X amount of miles, say 10 miles in, set up a small spike camp, okay, so we have, say, 10-mile radius to hunt in for that day, to find sign, anything, any kind of form of life out there that's four-legged and
so you're saying 10-mile radius from your
spike camp.
From your spike camp, okay. Or base camp, really.
Right, yeah.
But you're not planning on walking 10 miles from the road, right?
Well, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. So I know. I could be. That's my goal. Now, will I hit that goal? I don't know until I get out there.
I believe you could do it. I just think you're gonna fucking regret it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude. I'm talking. You can fuck your back up permanently doing some shit like that. I'm serious.
Like that's why. Like I was on the fence about getting trekking poles, and then the more I started thinking about it, I was like, where I want to hike to, and if I get an animal down, there's no way in hell I'm going to find a stick to hold my big ass up, plus whatever I have on my pack.
Keep talking. I'm going to grab a sword
to carry this fucker out. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy me some trekking poles, hands down, just to try to help ease some of that weight that I'm going to have on my back.
The trekking poles will help a lot, but I think you will also find once you get in that elevation, when you start hiking into the, you know, you're in 8,000-9,000 feet and you're wanting to go 10 miles, it's going to hit you a whole lot different than you think.
Yeah. And that's the other thing I've been putting in my mind, like, okay, like I have this probably unrealistic idea how far I want to hike in, and I could get out there and it could be, oh, well, this was a dumbass idea. Why did I even decide this? Of hiking in 10 miles, setting up spike camp, and then hunting another 10 miles.
And the other thing you have to remember is a lot of people have that idea and they get a mile from the truck and they've never hiked up elevation that's a 45-degree angle, and they're like,
with barely any oxygen.
Right, they're like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like, you get in 5 miles and you set your camp there, and then you go 5+ from your camp every day in a different radius trying to find stuff.
Right.
You're going to get into different valleys and different drainages and whatnot. You're going to hit different ridges where you can look across, and you'll find the elk if you get out there where they're at. If you can go 5 miles from your camp every day, you'll find a herd.
Right. And that's what I'm kind of looking for.
Well, and another thing to keep in mind, brother. Anybody else want lemon?
Nah, I'm good.
Corona takes a lime, dude.
I know, I'm out of lime juice. And limes.
It looks close.
You're like that dollar store Mexican.
Hey, it's okay. I'm colorblind. He could have told me it was green. I would have went with it.
So the fact that you're hunting with a bow also, keep in mind. I mean, so you're talking walking in 10 miles, then 10 miles from there, like he was just saying. So you're potentially could shoot a fucking elk up to 20 miles from the road.
Yeah.
And then you shoot it with a bow. We'll
say it runs another 100 yards.
Let's say it doesn't go as planned, as bow kills do more frequently than firearm kills. You can end up tracking for a lot longer than you anticipated.
Yeah.
If you make a bad shot, I mean, it might be you fucking go back to camp for 19 hours and come back.
Right.
And then you hope he's still, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, the fucker could go away.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you on that 100%. Like, we shoot a deer around here. Okay, we get a bad shot. We're tracking what? Depending on the deer and what kind of hunting pressure we're in, on average, we're tracking what a deer roughly if we have a bad shot. 8 hours? 12 hours?
I've had some long.
Maybe even longer.
Long tracks, brother. I mean,
I've backed out and put 8 hours in, and then I hit the road that was 2 miles away and said, Nope.
Right.
I've been on a couple tracks where I've had to with me my deer and my brother's deer as well, where we've backed out after 8 hours.
Right.
But I'm just saying.
And that's the other thing. Like here, we're so used to being like, oh, hey, I can call up so and so. Hey, I need you to bring your blood tracking dog or your deer tracking dog. Oh yeah, that's no problem, bud. They're there. What, within an hour, 2 hours, depending on where you call them from.
So what's your GPS situation like? Because that's another thing. I mean, you shoot a deer, because you're more than likely going to be tracking into the night.
Yeah. And me and my buddy are looking into getting a Garmin Mini InReach.
Okay, so what do you have right now? Anything?
Right now, phone. And strictly leaving it off the fucking maps that we have that we're going to have downloaded.
So
like Onyx or Go Hunt or what's the other one? Base Maps.
So normally, because that's all we do. We do the offline maps for Onyx, and they work great because you don't necessarily have to have cell service in order for it to track your GPS location.
Right.
So if you download, because if you don't have service, for those of you that were curious, if you try to open your Onyx, if you don't have service, all it is, it's just like you can still mark your location, say, I'm going to mark camp. Bam. And then I walk a mile that way. Camp is still where camp is. It'll show it on the screen, and it'll show where you're at. You just won't be able to see anything other than squares.
Right. And I'm content with that.
But I'm just saying,
right.
Normally I'd be like, cool, man, that's all you need. But motherfucker, you're going back a ways.
Yeah.
If something fucks up, it's not like, oh shit, man, we got to go back 2 miles of the truck.
Right. And that's the other thing. Like, we've been talking about the whole Mini InReach, and it's got a little SOS button on the side of it. And me and him both came to the agreement. We're like, we have to be on our deathbeds. Like, I better be bleeding, and you cannot stop the bleeding before you hit that SOS button. He goes, what do you mean by that? I was like, if I'm almost to the point of, like, turning white, you better put a bullet in me, call my wife, be like, hey, sorry, your husband's buried out here in the mountains. He refused to let me hit that $10,000 button just to get that button hit. Because I really don't want to come home from Colorado with that $10,000 bill on my head because, hey, I had to have the U.S. Coast Guard come and save my ass.
Right, I got a helicopter ride because I stubbed my fucking toe on a rock. Right. Yeah. But I'm worried, man. I'm legitimately worried. Right. I'm not trying to bring you down at all.
No, and
I just did. I knew you originally you were talking about possibly doing that, but I thought you guys changed your mind.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
And like I said, dude, we could get out there and it could be a reality slap in the face. Be like, are you fucking retarded?
Y'all better come up with a plan B because I'm gonna say this. I think. I might even be fucking dreaming, but I swear to God, me and my brother have talked about this before, and our max is 4 miles.
Right.
4 miles from the truck.
Which makes sense.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
It's a long fucking way.
Oh, yeah. If you really set it down, lay it out on paper, 4 miles, you're going to get into some shit real quick.
And I'm not sure where you're looking at going in Colorado, but, I mean, you're in the Rockies.
Right.
There's going to be some elevation change, bro.
Yeah.
It's going to suck.
Yeah. And we've been talking to, when I was in Wisconsin, the people I talked to in Wisconsin at this King of the Hill Beast Mode Archery Challenge, 90% of those people out there, quit whitetail hunting. They're like, whitetail it's not challenging enough. They're like, we are strictly out west hunters.
Oh, they challenge me.
I don't do it for the challenge. They just fucking taste good.
Right. And, well, that's the thing. They're like, yeah, we can go out, we can take a gun and shoot a deer. Well, okay, that's no big deal. But getting out west to hunt elk and doing it strictly just bow only. A lot of those people out there that I shot with refuse to go elk hunting with a rifle.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, anybody can squeeze a trigger, look through a scope, squeeze a trigger, kill an elk at 1,000 yards. I was like, not me. I live in Michigan because we don't have long ranges.
Yeah, we struggle to find a 300-yard range around here.
I was to say 1,000 yards, man. If they're saying anybody can do a 1,000-yard shot, I'd like to meet their anybody.
Yeah, and who I met up there, that's all they do. That's all they live for is archery elk season. September is their thing.
Oh, dude, I mean, especially if you live out there, dude, that'd be. And you're good at it?
Yeah. Dude, you know what I mean? I want to take one of those bow hunters and put them on a 1,000-yard range with a 308 and be like, do it Show me, prove it.
And like I met this cool husband and wife, and I met the wife first, and the husband was doing at King of the Hill. They have like elk calling competition.
Of course, you met the wife first.
You know, when he's up there screaming elk bugles and all sorts of shit. Like they're like, oh, you should do it. Nope, I'm from Michigan. I'm not from an area where we have elk. Like, I'm not gonna go up and make myself look like a complete idiot.
No habla.
But was sitting there talking with his wife, and like his wife's like, oh yeah, she's like, I wasn't gonna marry a pussy. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, he didn't bow hunt before I met him. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, I told him either he learns how to shoot a bow and arrow, like compound, or I'm not marrying him. I was like, okay. She's like, yeah, any pussy can pull a trigger on a gun and kill an animal. Takes a real man to fucking shoot a bow and arrow. I'm like, okay.
She got a sister? Tyke's single.
She's about your style, Tyke.
You don't know my style, Aaron.
She was in that higher bracket.
Above 5'6".
What? Shit, I was going somewhere with all that, and I was struggling to hold some comments back, and now I forgot where the fuck I was talking about.
Fucking say it.
Now I forgot what they were too.
Good.
But yeah, like I said, like those people, like, and her, like talking about this couple, like her husband's ended up winning the elk calling competition. He is phenomenal. Like, you got these people that
use a mouth call or the
mouth call for like a diaphragm, like a turkey call, like a turkey diaphragm call.
Right. So for the bugles though, do you use a diaphragm and that horn looking thing, tube?
Yeah, the tube, the bugle tube. Yeah, it's a diaphragm with a bugle tube.
That's what I thought. Okay. And then the cow call is just a
diaphragm.
See, and that's why I wanted to go with you, because I've always wanted to do elk. Not necessarily with a bow. I mean, that'd be awesome, but I've always wanted to do it because to me it's always seemed like, you know, the big game version of turkey hunting.
Yeah.
You know, it's turkey hunting. You call, they call. There they are. Like, let's make a move.
Yeah. Except the turkeys around here don't respond to calls. They're like, there's like 6 hens right there. What the fuck are you doing? What I see them. They're there. You're over there. You're not a hen.
There's way too many bitches around here. So maybe I shouldn't have been mad at old Brian for taking out one of them hens. But that's why I've always wanted to do it. But the problem is those tags are, I mean, they're fucking expensive. And like, that's what me and my brother were talking about, because I was trying to talk him into the exact hunt that you're doing. I was like, look, dude, I'm like, you and I both have hunted deer. We know ungulates. Like, we know how to hunt. Like, you add that with the fact that, I mean, we're not bad shots.
Nah.
You know, according to some people, they might want to disagree, but we're not bad shots. You know,
well, Tyke's blind, so we can't really count for his.
Right. So that's why I wanted.
Sorry, Tyke.
You want me to get a compound sighted in?
Yeah, I'm game for it. I'll try.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm like Cam Haynes over here shooting broadheads at like 130 yards, which blows my mind because that's the only thing he shoots.
Insane. He only shoots broadheads?
Dude, he fucks up so many shots. Don't even bring him up.
He does not use like field points. Like, it's nuts because that's all he does is shoot broadheads. There's no way in hell I had that kind of money to shoot broadheads like that.
I have lost respect after he hucked an arrow at 120 yards at a live elk. He found it. I give him credit on that. Right. He found it, but...
Well, that's like...
I'm sorry.
Tim Wells, Stockmaster. He shot a bull elk at like 120 some yards.
I might be thinking of Tim Wells. Yeah. That might be who I'm thinking of.
Yeah. But he's also... Tim Wells even's like, I can make that shot comfortably because I wake up every morning, walk out my door, and I have a target at 120 yards.
Well, what I was trying to get at was... The reason my brother decided that, you know, it's not worth it, and I kind of agreed. I mean, it's 6% drawing odds for the hunt that you're doing.
Yeah.
Or not? I'm sorry, not draw odds, but success rate.
Right.
6% success rate.
And like the couple of units I looked at, there is higher success rates, but it's a lot shittier terrain.
Like just. As far as what, like you can't glass, or just like you don't want to hike through that shit?
You really don't want to hike through that shit. Like, you take, like, like you said, 4 miles from the truck. Take that 4 miles, you're going to cut it down to like a mile away from the truck hiking just because it's just shit terrain. But you have a higher success rate.
Blow down, 60% grade, all kinds of... You're going straight up over logs the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
Shell rock, the whole nine.
Oh,
like,
man,
I talked to a couple people when I was in Wisconsin. They're like, well, what are you looking at?
Ooh, excuse me.
And at first, we were looking at southeast of Aspen. And a couple of people I talked to, they're like, oh, so you plan on dying at a very young age. That's cool. I was like...
Because terrain?
Yeah. I was like, so what do you mean? They're like, basically, it's shell rock the whole time. You're
just
hiking.
sheep country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, you'll see elk, and you'll see some massive elk, and you'll kill an elk, but plan on you're going to work your ass off for it, and you don't look like you're in shape to handle it.
Oh, not only that.
I was like, damn. You know, it took me 3 kids to get this body, okay? And I love them.
Dude, so Allie cracks me up because, dude, I'm sorry, but I'm throwing you under the bus so bad, but she's just like that dad bod that Aaron's got. She's just like, it's just like a permanent thing. Like, no matter how good a shape he gets into, he's just always got that fucking belly.
Exactly. I can't
help
it. It's genetic.
Yeah, she said your dad has the same exact thing.
Oh, yeah. Now, and you put my dad and his 3 brothers in a row. Like, all of them were teeny tiny. Hell, my Uncle Scotty, which was the baby of the family, was super skinny. Like, 100, I think he graduated at 110 pounds.
Jesus.
And now he's probably 250.
Holy sh...
Like,
I thought
beer belly, the whole nine. Like, full-blown dad bod.
My goodness.
That's a big... He more than... Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about myself no more.
Like, and
I don't feel
that's
too
the thing.
bad anymore. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, my dad's side of the family, like, all have this, well, most people will call beer belly. None of them drink. Now, you put me and my cousins all together, we're all a bunch of drinkers. Like, hands down, like, I'm not...
I was like, don't even tell me you don't drink.
And no, this is water.
Right.
We just put it in a Corona bottle, put some food coloring in it, called it good.
That's what cerveza meant. Water.
But yeah, no, like, my parents,
Fermented
like,
hot
my dad
water.
and them all have the beer belly look to them. Don't drink. If they do drink, it's probably 1 beer in probably 3 years.
So how in shape do you feel you are for this?
I feel I'm pretty well in decent shape.
What have you been doing?
Hitting the gym, hitting the weights, hitting the cardio.
Doing what? I mean, like, what? Because cardio, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, cardio's been saving my ass on that. And I've been I've been watching a lot more of the guys that do this elk hunt year after year after year and ruck training, I guess.
With the packs on and
yeah.
shit. Yep.
Put some weight in the back. A lot of guys run.
Dude, it's smart because your shoulders are just not being used to it. That's the first thing that we all noticed when we were antelope hunting was like, dude, after like 30 minutes of hiking, you're like, this sucks.
That's what I found out when I was at TAC with my day pack. Like
that's just a day pack.
Yeah, and that was after shooting fucking 40 targets in a day. I was like, my shoulders were on fire. I was like, Jesus.
Well, so Bobby started wearing his pack when he'd go for his walks and shit at night, and he said that helped a little bit when he went on this last bear trip in Montana. But I don't know, I never did any of that. After about a day, you kind of get acclimated, but your shoulders do hurt.
No,
just the muscle, just the fact that you just got that fucking weight pressing down. I mean, with the waist straps and stuff, it kind of takes a lot of that pressure off.
And that's what I noticed with my pack I'm taking out west. Like, I took that when I went to Wisconsin, and I had that on the whole time.
What kind of packs you go?
I went with the Mystery Ranch Bear Tooth.
I have no idea what that is.
I think it's the bigger version of the Mystery Ranch pack. I was like,
I
dude, I'm going out for 14 days, dude. I'm making sure I got enough shit to cover my ass.
I thought Mr. Baller over here was going to be like, Stone Glacier, no big deal.
What I really wanted was a Kafaru. Yeah.
I think you showed me that one.
Yeah, it's a very badass pack. But I was like, yeah, I'm not spending fucking $2,000 on a backpack.
So what before we get into stump typekey, yeah, that's right. We're actually doing a stump typekey this time because he made the questions and not me.
We have a few things to get into.
No, I know. As I said, before we get into that, there's just a couple of things I want to ask specifically about that trip. I think you already told us, but you have multiple bows. So please tell us which bow you're taking and what broadhead you're using.
The bow I'm taking is my 2022 Matthews V3X29 with the Spot Hog Fast Eddy XL with a Ultra View 3 dual pin sight scope.
What about broadhead?
Broadhead, it's be 125 grain Micro Haiti Grim Reapers.
Is that fixed?
Yes.
Were you ever on the fence about going with mechanical?
Yes. I've always been on the fence on mechanicals. Like, I can understand mechanicals, like, they're awesome. But
when they work.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I've always shot
slip
fixed
cams
head.
when they work.
Yeah. I've shot fixed heads all the time whitetail hunting. This past year, I finally went to mechanicals. I had an 8-point walkout early October when we had it still like 80 degrees during bow season. I was like, yeah, I'm going to let you walk. You're a gorgeous buck. I'm going to let you walk. And I used, I was going to use mechanicals on him. And that was I think it was the G5 Dead Meat mechanical.
I'm not familiar with those.
It's a 3-blade. And I was like, you know what? My buddy...
Time out. I don't mean, when you said mechanicals, were those slip cams or were those true mechanicals that just fold back?
True mechanicals that just fold back.
All right.
I'm assuming. I haven't really shot them to see...
Did they have a rubber band that holds everything down?
Plastic clip.
So,
okay.
basically, it's a slip cam.
Right.
Sit up like this and they go like that.
Yeah.
Right. They didn't do that?
No.
They just folded straight back?
Yeah. Well, they fold out.
That'd be a slip cam.
Well, it doesn't come down.
If it comes out from the bottom, it's a slip cam.
No, it doesn't come out. Or maybe it does.
Here, if this is the tip right here, if they go like this and fold up, and then when you hit the deer, it catches the point and pulls it back and down.
No, it's like...
That's a slip cam.
Well, yeah, it could be a slip cam.
That's a true
That's
mechanical.
a true mechanical.
Because it's like this, and it comes back.
That's a slip cam.
But it's not... They start out like this, and then they come out.
Yeah,
So
that's a slip cam.
Yeah, if it flares out at the bottom,
Okay.
it's a slip cam.
Yeah.
Which, those are the tricky ones, see? So I'm pretty sure we've talked about this already, but it's worth bringing up again. So I used Rage. My brother used Rage. We knew a couple other people that used Rage when Rage 3s came out. We all lost a couple deer. All had the same issue, penetration. Like, you hit a little bit of bone, one of those blades doesn't go, none of them go.
Right.
Because of the way they're designed. The old school mechanicals, the one we were just talking about, the fold straight back, are, pretty much, if one doesn't go, well, fuck it, you still got the other two. And they can still punch through shoulder blade.
Then the G5s, or the G5s, the Dead Meat, are a true mechanical. They don't slip back like a slip cam, like that. Because there's two that will still open if one fails.
The reason I typically like the damage of Ray, or like a slip cam does, but the penetration issue drove me away from those, so I went back to fixed blade. Problem with fixed blade is I don't like to shoot my targets with with broadheads.
Right.
I don't. Occasionally I will, like right before the season, but it's like you grit your teeth. You're just like, God, man.
And that's the thing. Like, when I started looking into archery targets, I started going to a foam target like Morel High Roller.
Mm-hmm.
Those, I looked at plenty of reviews on them, and they basically built those for the guys that want to broadhead tune their bows. That's their cup of tea.
But you're looking at what, $150 for a target?
Yeah, I ended up walking out of Dunham's with one for like $40 since there was no tag on it. And I was like, yeah, that looks about right. It was a discount. Yeah, thank you. Bye. I'm gonna go to my truck now. Hurry up, throw it in there. Go, just go. Don't even look back.
So if you weren't a terrible human being and pulled and paid full price,
yeah, you're looking at, for the high roller, you're looking at about $100 for a foam target like that will handle
the ones
broadheads.
I was looking at were like 120, 125.
It depends what you get. If you go into the spider web targets, which they're guaranteed, they're lifetime targets.
Oh yeah, which are built in Michigan, hands down. Thank you.
There's a sticker on the back of that.
Yeah. Spider web targets they will stop literally anything. You can shoot a Raven crossbow from 5 yards away with a broadhead, and it just 6 inches of penetration, and it's done.
Nah.
But I just looked up the G5 dead meats. They are a slip cam.
Are they a slip cam?
They're an independent cam, though. Each one has its own.
Okay.
Oh, so really?
And see, like I said, I'm not big into mechanicals. I've shot fixed heads my entire life, so like this was like, ooh, a new thing.
It's not a true mechanical fullback. It's a slip cam, but each one is independent in its own channel. Mm-hmm. They're not hooked together like the Rage are,
which is awesome. I would give something like that a shot. Because it's the fact that, because like the old Rage 3s, like I said, I mean, they were all like connected in the middle. So if one blade didn't go, none of them went.
No.
Right. They don't look like they're connected in the middle.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I'd give something like that a shot. So, like I said, the whole reason I like the mechanicals are because I can shoot my field points and then put that on and know that my bow is going to fly pretty much the exact same way.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about shooting a target. I haven't had an issue with it. The problem is, I said I used to shoot Rage before I went to fixed blade, but before that, I used to shoot when the mechanicals first came out. That's all they had was the regular mechanicals, and they were great.
Right, like the Nap Spitfires.
Yeah, that's literally what I'm using right now. I think they're Nap Spitfires. I'm pretty sure.
The Nap Spitfires, they're good broadheads as long as you make sure that your O-rings are good to go. I had one where they got away from the O-ring and they went with like the little tension spring inside there.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And
you talking where you just push them up?
You push them up and it's got like a little piece of spring steel inside there that holds pressure on it until it hits meat and then it folds back. I fucked up and shot it out of a crossbow instead of a compound.
And it opened up right away.
At one of them. That was one of the 10 points I shot at where my arrow, I'm assuming, kicked sideways at this deer at 40 yards. And I heard it just where it smacked the chest. I'm like, fuck yeah, I hit that deer right where I wanted. And I did. Totally hit him where I wanted. With an arrow sideways. And I went out looking for blood and I couldn't find shit. The next morning I went out and my arrow was about 60 yards to the left of where I hit this deer. Up in the rock pile with just one little tuft of hair in one open blade. The other two were still closed. Never went in, just gave him a little haircut.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, listen to the box. Don't shoot that shit out of a crossbow.
All right.
I was like 18. Leave me alone.
All right. I feel like it's time to move on to Stump Tacky.
No, it's not.
What do you got?
Well, we need to address...
Oh, yeah, that thing you were telling me about with from your brother's episode.
You were going to call me out on being on my phone, which, totally good. I was just on my phone. I was looking shit up. So, when...
This is why I find it hard to, like, stump type keys, like the Wikipedia of outdoor things.
You might...
Like, hey, hang on.
You might give me
take a
this
bet
time.
with somebody here. Hang on. Let me make my one phone call. Hey, type key.
Lifeline.
What is this? Let me call my Wikipedia. I got him on speed dial.
You might get me this time, Aaron. I'm like, the archery shit, you might have me down. But as far as when I was looking stuff up for Willie, it was what designates a wilderness area. And the only thing I could find was the National Wilderness Protection System. It's whatever area of land they designate gets the highest protection under the federal government that's available, and that's what they designate wilderness. They all have different rules, but that's how it's defined on Google, this is the highest level of protection for that land.
As far as motorized vehicles and...
just for the system, because they all have different rules for each set, but it's the highest level of protection, whereas, like, you go to BLM and you can drive all over it, and you can have campfires and set up camps, and, if you get in trouble, it's, like, bad.
But if you fuck up in a wilderness area,
Like we talking, I don't know. Federal offense, like
it is federal protection, so it would be
like, oh, it's not just a slap on a hand. It's like, oh, you might go to prison for this.
Yeah.
Note to self, I'll put that in the back of the mind there.
So
we're gonna stay from that area.
The other one we were talking about was the hunting from a vehicle, and me and Willie kind of got into it a little bit about.
That's what
he said Texas, and I said Nebraska. I'm like, nah, I don't think you're right on Texas. He wasn't totally wrong. Texas, you can shoot from a vehicle on private land.
Really?
If you're on private property, you can shoot from inside your vehicle at an animal with a valid hunting license.
Really? Isn't New Mexico like that too? For like
I don't know. I don't know about New Mexico. I didn't look. Okay. Nebraska, you can shoot from a vehicle as long as it's not moving. I don't remember if it has to be shut off or not, but it has to be in park. And you cannot be on the public right-of-way on a road. So if you're on a 2-track and you're in your truck
road or something like that,
right,
you're illegal.
If you're not on a state-sanctioned road, like if you're just cruising logging roads or some shit, and you're like, oh, there's a bear. Throw it in park, shut it off, open up. Don't even open your door. Just hanging out the fucking driver window. You're legal.
Huh. It's interesting.
Good work, Tyfke. Is that all you got? As far as things we need to cover before we hit Stump Tyfke?
Yeah, I think we're going to, we nixed the pendulum sight thing because the hog sight's totally different.
Explain the pendulum sight, though.
Ooh, I have seen one, and that is pretty cool. Like,
my stepdad used to use one.
I can follow that in a heartbeat.
So, it sounds like a cool idea, yeah.
My stepdad used to use one when he went up north, but he practiced from his deck, and it wasn't quite as high as his tree stand. So his zero, from my understanding on the old style one that he had, the zero didn't like coincide because you had to be at the right elevation for it. But the new ones, it doesn't seem like that's that much of a deal. Like it's just the angle of the bow, basically.
Yes, and with those going back to the sights, like you really gotta check your second and third axis on these steep angle shots.
Right. Well, and that was also before laser, the angle compensating rangefinders and stuff. So it could have been that as well. But basically, the pendulum sight, you have one pin in the center of the circle, and that whole circle is on a pivot.
Yeah.
So as you change the angle of your bow, it changes where the pin sits in the sight.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to keep you on level with where that arrow is going to go. I've never used one. I'm curious.
I've seen them. I'm kind of terrified to try to shoot with one.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I'd try with some cheap arrows first.
Yeah, but I shoot expensive arrows.
Well, you said you got like a couple dozen that you can't use anymore, right?
Yeah.
What do you want for them?
Oh, I don't know. What do you want to give me for them?
I don't know. Buy me a pendulum sight. We'll figure it
out. We might have to have that on the next podcast or a video of that. We'll just be like, here, Tyfke shooting with pendulum and
why is he using
Leneway's expensive ass arrows.
Right. Well, I gotta say, like your whole little dive into archery, because this is all fairly new for you, right?
Yeah. Like I've dove deep. Like I followed the whole rabbit hole down for 2 years now, a year and a half.
I was like, well, since I got with Allie in that time, you've like just dove into it head first, and I was like, this year in particular, like after watching you go on that shoot or whatnot, I'm like, man, I need to start shooting.
Yeah.
Because I finally got around ordering my rangefinder. As the X has my old one.
I was gonna give you mine, but yeah, good for you, buddy.
Last year I tried hunting without it.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Well, the year before too, but man, not easy. Out here it wasn't that bad because it's like, it's hard to hunt out back here because your shots are only, you only got a couple.
Yeah.
And they're close, but still, anyway. So it got me motivated enough to start shooting in August, which is not normal. Normally, I don't start freaking out till September about my birthday.
Yeah, no, my wife is quite pissed at me since I've dove so deep in this archery. Like
I've heard.
I was shooting.
I have heard. So his wife also gets horse riding lessons from my fiance, So she's at the barn quite a bit with the kids without him, and she's just like, "Did Aaron tell you what he did?
Yeah.
He bought it. That bow that he told me he won. He bought it."
Yeah.
I looked at the credit card receipt.
Yeah, she was not thrilled about that one.
Probably wouldn't have been so mad if it wasn't a $1,600 bow.
Yeah, I paid like $9 for it.
Still,
Yeah.
that's
That
that hurts.
salty, yeah.
I mean,
That's you get
Lessons learned. Lesson learned.
I feel like I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall just to watch you and see how you handled that situation for my own record, like in case I ever fuck up like that. You're like, so what do you do in a situation like that?
Yeah.
Run
Yeah.
far away.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how far you run.
I feel
you
like-
gotta come back for the kids eventually. There's days like I
Only
could
if
just,
you're a
like,
good
sell 'em.
parent.
Yeah, I try to be a good parent. I really do. My youngest pushes that inner gangster in me all the day, every day.
Your youngest is a little gangster.
But she loves her Uncle Bert though.
She does. I am the human jungle gym.
Pretty much.
I'm all right, man. They're kids. They're allowed to climb all over to Uncle Bert.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like your wife and my fiance would handle that situation very much the same.
Yeah, like I'd be like, how I handle it with my wife, it would not go the same way with your fiance. Like it'd have been like, yep, fuck it, cutting and running. I'm not even gonna stick around. Fuck it. I'm cutting out. Love you, but I'm out. Fuck this. I'm not dying today.
I'm out. Bye.
Full send. Just I'm out.
Jesus. Well, all right. Can we move on to Stump Taiki? Are we ready? So I had Aaron
Sure, why not?
shelling off some more of my responsibilities. I put it on Aaron. I said, come up with 5 Stump Taiki questions concerning bows. I didn't say bow tech. I just said bows, which is fine.
Which is quite interesting.
Anything bow related.
Which I found this all pretty interesting. Like I was kind of shocked by a lot of this.
Make sure you get a little closer to your mic.
Sorry.
There you go.
You know what, Bert? If I hadn't been dealing with so many
You too.
financial things on my phone while I was at work, I would have had some Stump Bert questions just because I knew you were going to do this shit.
Taiki never ever said I was a smart man.
Let me get a tally going.
Unfortunately, I've been accused of being smart, and it's not fucking true.
All right. Let us begin. We got 5 questions, right?
Yes, 5 questions, all multiple choice.
All right. Question 1.
Question number 1. Who built the first compound bow? A. Fred Bear. B. Mike McPherson. C. Pete Shearley. Or D. Hollis Wilbur Allen.
D.
D. Bird.
I agree.
Yeah, it is. Which
I almost feel like we've asked that fucking
Have
question
ya?
before.
like I was
I think I've used that for a question for him before, but that's still very
wait,
cool.
Yeah.
Maybe it was you. When we had the Ground Zero archery crew on. Then I got it right.
And you did, but yeah, exactly. Because that's why I remember it. Because I'm like, how the fuck did you?
Because I had an Allen bow at one point.
Did you?
Yep.
Really?
When I was a kid.
Like when he first built.
Oh God, no!
I was gonna say, dude, like you realize how
That'd be worth some
expensive
fucking money.
Yeah.
No.
say-
And you're crying about not being able to go on an elk hunt right now.
Well, just so everybody's clear, like this is the same Allen company that
Yes.
that makes the cheap Walmart broadheads, right?
Yeah.
Do they still make bows?
Not that I could find.
'Cause I've never even seen an Allen bow.
Like, yeah, I didn't even hear of it. When I was doing the research on this for the 5 questions, like, I'm like, Allen is like, is this? So I started going down the rabbit hole with that. Is Allen the same company that? Is this the same guy or company that he started? The same one that sells Walmart knockoff broadheads? Like, they're Allen's. Do I really?
Dude,
wanna
I
shoot
have
something
killed
with
a lot of deer with those broadheads.
that? Right. But I'm saying, like, most people are like,
Oh no, absolutely.
it's not Grim Reaper, it's not Slip Cam, it's not Iron Will, or this.
Dude, it's funny you say that because there is like a snootiness almost to bow hunting.
Yeah.
It's like those memes that are floating around. I know everybody's. If you're on Facebook, you've seen it. It was some variety of the meme with the on the golf course.
Yeah,
With the dudes all dressed up when the other dude looks like he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt smoking his fucking cigar. It's like people that are all dressed up are the bow hunters, and the guy dressed up like fucking Santa Claus wearing a Hawaiian shirt are the fucking gun hunters. Because it's like, do they get really like like real fucking tech weird, you know?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm partially that way.
I know you are. That's why I said it.
The Tiger Woods, John Daly.
I'm sorry. I'm the guy that will go and spend the money and buy a limb-driven rest over a cable-driven rest just for the simple fact I've seen how many times those cable-driven rests have fucked up. Have my buddy right now, Jake. I'm sorry if you're watching this.
Whisker biscuit.
I shoot a whisker biscuit. Well, no, I don't. Actually, no, I don't. I take that back. I had a whisker biscuit, and I got a drop away now. But I shot a whisker biscuit for a long fucking time.
Oh, bitch. So did I. And then I got
just because it came with my bow.
Right. You know what makes you a real man? Shoot a fucking crossbow. Don't be a bitch.
I thought you were going to say recurve.
Yeah, I'm not that good. I give the full recurve trophy to Mike Ellis, hands down.
Dude, I really wanted to get into it this year and do the recurve thing.
Yeah,
I really did, dude, but I just didn't.
I tried the whole recurve thing off of doing these leagues. I can't hit a broadside of the barn to save my life at 20 yards.
Really?
That poor bastard's still
it's
running.
Probably your arrows.
Fuck, I don't know.
What arrows are you shooting?
Whatever they had.
Do you have feather fletchings or rubber?
Yeah, they were feather fletchings.
I was going to say, that's number one. As if you have feather fletchings, you're golden, which I don't have, so I can't just grab my bow.
Right.
I have a recurve up there, but I don't have the ones with the feather fletchings, and I just never really got around to getting any. But my whole goal was I wanted to set aside a couple hunts and just dedicate myself to taking out the recurve. I had a spot all picked out back here on the ground where I'd have a 10 or 15 yard shot. But
I'm not gonna lie,
didn't do it.
10 to 15 yard shot is still a pain in the ass.
Oh, for sure. But
doing recurve,
right now,
down,
if I started
people that shoot it, more power to them.
Oh, absolutely. If I started shooting right now, after this podcast, started target shooting, and this is almost 2 months away from the season, I still wouldn't feel comfortable enough, I don't think, to go out and deer hunt with it. Anyway, question 2.
Question 2. What year was the first compound bow? When was the first compound bow made? What year?
You said they're multiple choice.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. I had a Bert moment there. Short-term memory loss there. What am I saying?
I believe it was 1940-something.
1971, 1966, 1992, 1969.
Read those again for me.
We've asked the same question, too.
1971, 1966, 1992, 1969.
When was the first one made?
Yes.
Good God, I might have had one of the first Allen bows. It was 66.
Yep.
Was it?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. That shocked me. I was thinking...
I was going to say 92.
Yeah. Actually, that's when Matthews was built.
No, I thought that was the question.
Because that's why I remember it, because it was 92, because that was when the Dawsons were here.
No, because I thought it was in the 40s when the first compound, the actual first compound was made.
But it was 66?
It was 66.
66.
By Mr. Allen.
Yeah, Mr. Allen. Yeah, he built it in 66.
I might have got rid of a bow I shouldn't have got rid of.
You're instantly regretting that one now, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Stupid. All right, so there's one for wrong, one for right.
I was right on that. I was right on both of those.
You're right on both of them?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck you, Bert. God damn it.
I was wrong.
What year was the compound bow introduced to the market? 1967, 1970, 1975, 1980. When was the compound bow introduced to the market?
Actually introduced, for sale?
Yes.
Or, okay, 70.
What were the options?
1967, 1970, 1975, 1980.
1980.
Actually, it was 1967.
No
when
shit.
It was introduced
right
to the
after
market.
he made it.
Yeah,
I thought it took a couple years.
A year after he built it.
One for wrong.
One for wrong. So yeah, that was the year after he invented it, then, right?
Which, reading more into that, following that down that rabbit hole, that was interesting.
I'd have been scared.
Well, because that question kind of threw me out, because you said first time went on the market. I'm like, well, fuck. I mean, if I wasn't such an idiot, I would have said 67 because it would have been the year after, and I forgot. But I don't know. It just seemed like it'd be weird that there'd be a gap.
Right. Well, at the same time, you got to think, if there's somebody building this in their garage.
That's why I thought it took a couple of years.
That's why I said 80, because I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah.
That's a lot of years, Bert.
That's a fuck ton of years, man.
That's 24 years, Bert.
Just really rolling the dice.
No, that's
Seem
14
like
years. Not 24, it's 14.
Look at you go. Little math whiz you.
Yeah.
All right. Question 4.
Who was the first company to invent the carbon arrow? A. Black Eagle, B. Victory Arrows, C. Easton, or D. Gold Tip?
God, I feel like this is a trick question. Aaron, is it obvious?
What is it, Daiki?
Read the first two for me again.
Black Eagle Arrows, Victory Arrows.
Victory.
Bert?
I'm going to say Easton.
Bert got it.
Really?
Yeah, it was Easton.
It's between those two, but I thought it was one of the ones that you're just like, I don't know, I just throw out a random one here.
So now we're at 50-50, so this next one.
I like to do this. It's a suspense builder.
What year was the first carbon arrow shaft introduced to the market?
Fuck you.
1995, 1983, 1987, 1990.
What was the first one?
95, 83, 87.
95.
I'm going to go with 95.
Actually, 83.
What?
Bullshit.
The first carbon arrow was introduced to the market in 83 by Easton.
Did it work?
Fuck, I don't know if it worked. I was kind of I was kind of shocked by that too.
Well,
because I was thinking like you guys. Thinking,
dude,
I started 90s.
I started shooting bows when I was 12. Was when I got my first one, and I was shooting aluminum arrows. The carbon arrows weren't like a thing yet.
No.
Yeah, no, everybody was using aluminum until like fucking 2004.
But Easton came out that year with a carbon arrow. Not too many people shot it. They kept it to the same diameter as the aluminum shafts, but nobody liked them because there wasn't enough.
Because they were like
stiff
fucking
spine.
logs.
Yeah.
You know, because the 5mm, the most everybody shoots now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I shoot 5mm, or some people know it
they're
as
thin.
204.
They're thin. But the cool thing about, so for you youngins, or you weren't shooting bow back then.
What year did you say?
Are you fact checking?
1983.
It was 82.
82. Oh, my bad. Well, from what I got, it was 83.
You're still wrong.
It was still 83 was what I got. I'm sorry.
Still
Taiki.
Still wrong.
But it was by Easton, wasn't it? Because that's what I came up for me.
Yep.
So, but what I was getting at was, you know, when I first started shooting with those aluminum arrows, what a lot of, like, you youngins, like I said, like, you guys didn't have to deal with a bent arrow.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Or a nicked arrow. Like, that shit used to drive me nuts. You remember, right?
I had aluminum shafts because I started shooting at 12.
Dude, I was
12.
I was shooting aluminums out of the current bow that I have. When one of my buddies gave it to me, he gave it to me with a bunch of aluminum arrows, and I'm like, oh god, these have got to be fucked.
Yeah, I remember, like, literally, like, you had to be so careful pulling the arrow out of the target. Remember, you had to be like perfectly
If you
straight.
squeeze too hard with your hand, you're gonna bend the damn thing.
Or, you know, like the target sits like this and the arrow's like this, and if you pull up at any sort of an angle, you'll banana the end of the arrow.
Yep.
I remember my dad used to get pissed 'cause when I first started shooting, he was the bank. You know, I'm like, we want to shoot archery and get you more arrows because I fucked all mine up. But they were cheap.
You shoot it, and you look as you shoot it, and you can see the thing doing this in the fucking sky.
Dog wagon.
Oh, no.
Big old fletchings and shit.
It's not
Feathers.
fucking
They
straight.
still had feathers then. It was very rare that you found some that had rubber veins
Mm-hmm.
that were what, 4 or 5 inches long.
Whoever the hell invented the short vein, thank you.
Yeah.
Because do you know how many... Me and Allie were just talking about this because I was target shooting out back
You
here.
mean blazer veins?
Yeah. Well, Blazer. Thanks, Blazer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna double check that now. I know that's the name of one of the brands.
No, it's definitely one. That's like the main brand,
it's,
I think.
Boning Blazer.
Or doesn't like Cobra... Is it Cobra I'm thinking of makes some brand? Whatever one I'm thinking of, there is a picture of an actual snake on one of the fletchings.
I don't know. I don't shoot those. I usually shoot AAE stealth, which now I'm starting to dabble into more in the boning and like low profile veins and
Listen,
all that.
you need to dabble in bow tech, but tech support. Like start fixing shit so I don't gotta go to the damn bow shop all the time.
Don't worry. I do that a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where Ground Zero knows me by name now. They're like, oh, what's up, Aaron?
So you were going to be a tech there for a second.
I tried to. As part-time, when work slows down, like, yes, I'm a pipe fitter. Not everybody needs work done in refineries.
Not everybody wants them pipes fitted.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I talked to Scott and tried to get in there part-time.
Scott Dawson, who's been on the show.
Yes, Ground Zero, hands down. For any archery need, like, hey, I'm going to put a shout out there for Ground Zero, either St. Joe or Niles. Get a hold of them. Scott Dawson, his wife, are hands down fantastic people. They have hell of excellent staffs. Wes is one of the bow techs up there, hands down, is awesome. So for any archery need out there, for any of these listeners out here, go to Ground Zero, hands down, best service you'll get.
Speaking of Ground Zero, before I forget, we are doing a live podcast at Ground Zero for the big buck contest through Michiana Monsters.
Does elk count if I shoot one out in Colorado?
Right.
Buck, not bull.
Right.
It looks like a buck. It's got horns.
Fuck, it does.
400 inches. Good Lord. But, yeah, so anyway, so they're doing I think it's a 3rd or 4th annual big buck contest. They're doing it at the Niles Ground Zero in I believe it's January 5th.
I think so. I seen it on Facebook
from
earlier today.
Yeah, so if you guys are curious, send a request if you're not already a member of the Michiana Monsters Facebook group, or go on our page. I think I posted it there too.
Yeah.
There's the flyer with all the info on there. We'll be doing a live podcast there, so that should be a lot of fun. I haven't decided if I want to bring the PA speaker or not, because I wanted to do like a stump type key questionnaire like this. Only I wanted to bring in. We come up with the questions that we asked the listeners, and
that would be a good one.
And I want to do. I want to like have a rotating chair, and we're gonna have all kinds of prizes to give away. I'm gonna get some more hats made, maybe a sweatshirt or two. Just some cool stuff. Maybe if we can get some people to donate some things. There's going to be all sorts of door prizes already at this thing.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. There was quite a few sponsors. Like,
oh, dude, it's going to be a good time.
I mean, that would be cool if you guys decided to do a stump type key where you don't make me look like an idiot.
It's stump type key where type key fucking comes up with the questions.
I struggled with this, okay? I really did, because I know you're like the Wikipedia of anything outdoors and hunting related. So I was like, God, I feel dumb now trying to search up questions that will stump them.
Dude, I told you with archery you might have me. There's a few of them that I know just from random crap that retains in my head from my childhood, but God, I've been out of the archery game for so long as far as like actual archery goes.
Dude, archery's a finicky thing, honestly. Like, I mean, it changes so often. You gotta like...
Oh, especially in the target world. Like, hey, I'm a bow hunter through and through first before I even try to attempt this target, like, competition archery, or target archery, I guess, per se. Like, that's a whole nother breed outside of another realm.
You also start asking me questions from, like, before, like, my mother was thought of being born. Like, Jesus, dude, come on.
Well, type key, you're like I said, you're like the Wikipedia.
Well, I was born in 94. Leave me alone.
Well, my favorite part of the whole reason, really, for the whole stump type key thing is it's not so much just stump type key. It's just that it's informational.
Oh, yeah.
And it gives us some content to talk about, you know, and just kind of roll some things around, because I mean, just through those stump type keys, like, I've actually learned quite a bit.
And hell, I'm glad you asked me to look up these 5 questions, because hell, I wouldn't even have never even thought about looking it up.
Right, because
and it's more information to me to know.
Right. And I think it's just awesome. It's good for everybody. So anyway, back to the live podcast. If you guys want to show up there, we're probably going to be plugging that thing just about every episode between now and then. So you guys will get...
That's going to be a lot. That's a lot, Bert.
I mean...
Every other.
We're just gonna keep reminding him, because it's going to be awesome. So, guys, I mean, if you guys shoot you don't even have to enter the buck contest and show up. I mean, you can just come out and hang out and look at all the big deer.
It's cool to see a bunch of big deer. I mean, don't they usually have a chili cook-off at the same time?
I was just thinking that. I think they do, but if they don't, they should. Chris, you should do that. I'm talking about Chris Reynolds, who has been on this podcast. I think it was actually labeled Michiana Monsters. I think that's what I labeled it.
Yeah, that's
him and Dustin.
Where we talked over each other and had to get headphones.
That's why these came. Yeah. So anyway, dude, check them out. Join their group. Yeah. Anybody got anything else? I think we're all talked out on bows.
I'm gonna do a stump Aaron next time.
That's fine. You will get me.
I'm gonna have to text you.
Hopefully, Aaron will have one of these cool hats. I don't know if you guys can see it from over there. Typhe's wearing one too.
I need a new one. Mine's kind of it's dickered.
I got 10 more coming. I think you ordered one, so yours will be in.
I'm hoping it's here before Colorado.
Well, I did my part and got the hats, and I got them to the person. Now they just got to get them done, Christy. So
I'm hoping I'm taking your guys' good juju with me when I go to Colorado.
Hell yeah, dude. But by the way, good luck.
Yes, thank you.
Be fucking careful, for fuck's sake. Dude, you make me so nervous, man.
Shit, I make myself nervous. I'm going out there.
You're just going so far, man.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, I mean, man.
Yeah, shit
please get the Garmin inReach.
Dude. That is still on things to do.
10 miles is a long. I ran 3.5 miles today. That's a long fucking way. Yeah. 10 miles is gonna suck, bro.
Oh yeah.
And don't get lost.
Just remember, you go that 10, you have to go that 10 back.
Yeah, that's the thing that's in my back of my mind.
Me and Willie...
I 10 miles, that's going to be a bitch getting back, but, it could be, in the long run, be worth it.
Dude, me and Willie stuck to 4.5, and you got to remember, you go that far, you're still going to be meandering around when you get where you want to look. We still had that 4.5 back. I mean, we had between 10 and 15 miles most days.
Yeah.
And we never went more than 4.5 miles from the truck.
Right.
And it's a lot.
I think you have the right idea, so I think you guys are going to be successful in the fact that you guys are probably more than likely going to get away from the majority of the people.
Yeah, I'm strictly going out there looking away from, okay, if I could pull up to a spot where it's public land and I see at least 2 vehicles, I'm not chancing.
I wouldn't even go with that, man, just because, I mean, I don't know what the public access scene is like out there, but if there's 2 vehicles, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. I mean, they could only be going, they could have seen some from the fucking trailhead and went after them, I'm just saying. I think you guys are going to be all right. I think you're going to get out there. I mean, it's just like anything else, just like deer. Pressure influences movement.
Oh, yeah.
Get away from the people, they're going to be there. So.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
All right, that it?
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Later. Go ahead and stop button on that.
Yeah.
That's it, everyone. Good episode. Great success. Anyway, so we will keep you updated as far as the Big Buck contest comes along and as more details come to light on that. As always, all music and artwork is done by the Shane Yoder. All editing is done by yours truly, Brent Ruff. And this episode is brought to you by Ruff Custom Carpentry. So, I don't know what we got coming up next, but we got fall turkey. It's August, so we're 2 months away from deer season. We got a lot of preseason stuff to cover, so we'll see where it goes. But in the meantime, everybody stay safe out there, and we will talk to you guys next time.